Warning: the following episode of That Mental Ginger Show contains strong language and adult themes.
Hello and welcome to That Mental Ginger Show with your host Andrew Durning, aka The Mental Ginger. If you like what you hear, please subscribe to the channel and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos. The more likes we get, the more views we get, and the more subscribers that we gain into our faithful following will help us bring the channel one step closer to the professional content that we know you all love. On today's show, we're talking with musician and small business owner Andrew Wilken. This was a really interesting episode. It was very unique. We had some improvisational segments that we did not expect. And I also found out that Andrew is an avid firearms owner because he is from Wyoming in the US of A. Now, being in Scotland, we don't have gun culture in the United Kingdom. So naturally, I had a lot of questions. So how many inappropriate questions did I ask? Well, you'll find out soon enough. But until then, let's cut to the intro.
All right, troops.
Andy boy, it's great to see you, man. How you been?
Great, man. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine. Another day down. Another batch of subscribers and a bit closer to getting that monetization. Hopefully by the time this airs, I'll actually have it and I can be like, money!
Right, though?
Yeah, but a whole 38 pence. 38 pence of money. I noticed that you shaved your beard as well. It was trimmed last time. What prompted you to pick up the razor?
Oh, man, I just decided to be clean shaven for a little bit. Thought it would be a good change.
See, I would want to go back to clean shaving for a little while, but my wife has only known me with facial hair. Back then, it was like I had a really pencil thin goatee, like I hadn't hit puberty yet. And I remember when I met her family for the first time, I shaved it off. And she was like, Andrew, you look about 14. I feel like a paedophile. Never shave again. So I was like, okay, duly noted. And I just noticed the Mastodon poster behind you. Loving it. Absolutely loving it.
Yeah, totally. Get my card, get my Mastodon, get just like totally in my office right now.
Oh, nice one. Well, that'll bring us into the first question that I ask my guests is that I like to get them to tell us a little bit about their origin story, because if there's one thing we all have in common, we've all got an origins. So, Andrew, for my faithful followers, please tell us your origin story.
My origin story. Well, I was born in Pueblo, Colorado in 1987 to my parents who were both ministers.
Oh, you're a 1987 boy as well, like me. Hey.
Ah, yeah.
Nice one. Right, I've got to ask, when in 1987?
October 12th.
October 12th, so I'm only slightly older than you. I'm June 30th. Very, very, very slightly. But trust me, no less wisdom in my case. So they were both ministers, you said?
That's correct.
Oh, wow. Were you indoctrinated into the faith? I'm just curious more than anything else.
Yeah, I was totally brought up in the faith. I was totally brought up Methodist, United Methodist, and gave me a unique world view. And I totally appreciate that.
So what about now? Do you still carry a bit of faith with you, or was there anything that kind of did you just go, nah?
I'm Christian for the most part. A little bit more open to different ideas and philosophies, but yeah, I'm Christian. I still carry the beliefs.
Yeah, definitely, man. You can believe something's up there, just not know what it is yet. I mean, I was speaking one of the last episodes I had on Maggie Whitehouse, and it was the vicar, and she covers like loads of different. She's like one of those kind of roaming vicars, as I call her. Like she could be like doing a Catholic service, a Protestant service, like Jewish, and so she's just like, they all basically sing from the same hymn sheet, so I can just go in between them all. No one likes me for it. And I'm like, well, there it is. So when did you start getting into the infamous metal music?
I've been into metal music since high school. Like, I enjoyed playing and going to concerts and local shows since I was like 17, 18.
What was your first show?
My first local show would have to be, I think it was the Homeless Wonders. It was a local band.
Nice. You always
Yeah.
start off with the local ones, don't you? In my case, it was a band called the Psychotic Pandas.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, yeah. They're Flood Red now. They got actually a wee bit of success as well. And yeah, big plug to my boys from Flood Red. Yeah. What? Because you were 1987 like me, so you would have been when it was the whole kind of the screamo mosher kind of new metal wave that came out.
I guess I cut my teeth into like the punk rock scene off the bat. Local punk rock bands and things of that nature.
So what inspired you to pick up the guitar?
Just naturally drawn to it, I guess. Like, started playing like acoustic 6-string guitar when I was like 9 years old, and
Nice.
I just prefer the bass guitar because I can shred and do all sorts of cool different things that don't necessarily have to have the chord structure that I need for guitar.
Something that I've noticed about myself, I always seem to find bass players to come on my show. Well, I've had quite a few either no bass players, or they came on the show, or that they prefer to play bass, like if they can play a range of guitar, and it's quite cool. How there's so many bass players. And everybody says that's one of the most difficult of the instruments to get any recognition. So clearly, I am supporting my bass playing homies right here.
Apparently, it's pretty awesome, dude.
Yeah. Well, one of the guys that I did have on, let's say, when he was playing bass, like he liked to do a bit more kind of moving and interacting with the crowd, like kind of like self-taught dancing, he called it. So could get them active because everybody was looking at the singers or they're looking at the lead guitar. Nobody looks at the drummer.
Right. To most drummers, kind of like it.
Yeah, I always feel bad. I always feel bad for the drummers because they are very, very skilled, but at the same time, every musician is told to blame everything on the drummer.
Agreed.
Yeah, I was told that even when I did basic high school music, I messed up a couple of notes in the exam. I was like, "Oh man, sorry." He went, "No, that's all right. It was the drummer's fault." I was like, "He wasn't even in the exam." But I was playing keyboard. There was no drums.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So what other instruments do you play?
So I play bass guitar, obviously.
Yeah.
I play 6-string guitar. I play a little bit of piano as well.
Oh, nice. Nice bit of piano. I tried playing piano, but I just couldn't grip it. I think because I was so used to the keyboard where you had left hand was hit A button and then your right hand did most of the work, which is ironic because I'm a lefty. So you would think my left hand would be more able to do all that, all the notes and stuff, but that just never worked out for me. I just always felt like I was just like, no, you go away. Right hand, you do this. It's quite funny. So one thing that I told my audience before I came on is that you're also a small business owner.
I am a small business owner. I own a landscaping commercial cleaning company that's doing quite well in Wyoming, honestly.
Which is absolutely brilliant because we are the same age. You have your own successful business, and I have. We'll get back to that one. So what got you into setting up a business in particular? It's a route that I have tried and failed to do on many occasions. Set up a business and bomb miserably. Explain the process of going through all that, at least from an American side, anyway.
Well, what motivated me to get started in just starting my own business? Back in 2011, there was a pretty large recession in the United States. Yeah. And I couldn't find work. So I created my own work. I found a niche that my community didn't have. And I went from there, slowly started picking up more contracts and more employees and slowly building an infrastructure that allows me to have a lot of free time, but also make a good bit of scratch.
That's not bad, man. I love I love the American attitude for working. I've seen it with quite a lot of guys I've had on. It's what you can't get a job, make your own job. I really, really respect that. And how you guys can do that. We basically get told, right, we're all screwed. Go and be a cleaner. And that's about it. That's nothing against cleaners, by the way. My wife is a cleaner, but we give the proper title of domestic assistant because if I didn't, she would beat the shit out of me. But it's something that I learned, being the cog in the industrial machine. I don't give a shit about the higher ups. I give a shit about the cleaners and the cooks because they're the ones that have access to chemical weapons that could poison you.
It's completely true. Like a surplus of bleach and other things. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, they know they can get the good stuff. Depending on the contracts, they can get the stuff that could kill you in 30 seconds. So, how many staff do you employ?
I got 9 right now.
Nice one, man. You're almost at double digits. I'm impressed.
Almost.
Well, I can barely manage the small team that I've got in the studio. Crazy. How do you find doing that? Because obviously you're the head honcho, so you've got to do all the bits. You've got to do the books. You've got to get accountants done. You've got to work out employee salaries, contract negotiations. Your brain must be like the size of fucking Mensa, man.
Something. I just go with it and get done what needs to get done.
Yeah. I mean, that's absolutely crazy. That type of stuff. Well, as most people know, I'm fucking nuts. So that type of stuff would just basically destroy my brain. Like I said, you must have the IQ levels of Sheldon Cooper here, man.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that. I mean, I'm pretty socially functional, so I'd say I'm decently smart.
Yeah, I would. That's definitely higher than me. I'm just about mediocre. I can switch the computer on. That's about it. So I say. So it was in 2011 you set up the business.
That's correct.
Yeah, and how long did it take before you were on a proper you were in the red, you were in the black, so to speak?
I'd have to say about 3 years. It took about 3 years.
So how what was it? Specific, aside from the fact that there was a niche market for what you were doing at the time, what did you ever think when you were younger that was the kind of side that you would go into for a business?
No.
Being your what was your goal at the rock star?
Actually, my goal as a child was probably rock star.
Nice. Well, I definitely good with that one. My goal was to be an actor, which they're basically the same thing. I could kind of sing, which was all right. but so one thing I have noticed is you've got a very, and don't take this the wrong way because I know this guy's been in a wee bit of issues with the press. You've got the band Puddle of Mud.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a very similar kind of look to him. The long hair, now because you're clean shaven as well. I'm just expecting you to start going, she fucking hates me.
I mean, totally. I just start singing acoustically all the time. Just walk around and be like, I'm a grunge dude. Yeah, okay.
Oh, definitely. Have you done recorded any of your own stuff?
I have a little bit of it. I've sent most of it off some of my friends who mastered it and thrown it into their own songs. So.
Oh, nice one. You got any sites for that we can find it? To plug your music to the masses?
I can play something for you guys if you want.
Oh, that we've not had this before. This'll be a good one. This'll be a good one. Right. We've had guys that have been on and I've always seen their kind of stuff afterwards. Getting to see and hear a proper song on the Mental Ginger show. This is good. I always love seeing live music, man. Absolutely love it.
Let me find a spot for my phone since I'm doing mobile right now.
No, don't worry about it, man. Don't worry. Gives me a chance to peruse the office setting.
Okay. Set that on the amp.
There we go.
Aux cord.
Yeah. Oh man, this is so taking me back to the days like my mate's house when it was just the iPhone on top of a laptop and we just jam out. Good times. Oh, nice. But that is a beautiful bass guitar, man. That's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, it's an Ibanez 505. It's supposed to be one of the most accurate metal basses. I enjoy it. Her name's Rosie, made out of rosewood.
Yeah, I was gonna say I absolutely loved the color. Absolutely, that's a beautiful color. Well, and is that a thing with like all kind of band members that they have to name their instruments?
All right, let me just rock something out for you, okay?
Yep. Right, my faithful followers, listen to Andrew Wilken and his amazing bass skills. Nice one, man. What? If I could find a thunderous applause sound effect, I will add it. Right now, you just get my dolphin clap.
Just a golf clap.
Yep. Oh man, that was awesome, man. I loved how you were getting very flea with it. At some points, it was starting to go like the whole body was getting into it. But the final thing, the thing I've got to ask about the bass, like guitarists and like general for people with instruments, do you all name your instruments?
Yes, all my instruments have names. Right.
So I can see 1, 2, 3, 3 at the minute. So what we've got Rosie for Rosewood. So what about the other ones? What's their names?
That is Beatrice. After Dante's Inferno.
Nice.
That's a BC Rich Warlock. Love that one.
Oh, that is a beautiful guitar. Absolutely beautiful.
That one's called Ebony. That's my first electric 4-string.
Wow. So when did you get that?
2017.
Nice.
And this is Dana. It's a 6-string Dean.
Oof, that is lovely. Is that like a giant safe you've got next to her?
Yeah, it's totally American. It's totally American.
That is brilliant. I'm just expecting like someone to turn up one day with like the stethoscope and just right into it, trying to figure out the combination. It's proper like Memento style. That's fantastic. Is that just for like all your kind of your office stuff, you know, like finance or that kind of thing, or?
That's for my firearms.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right, so this is something that being British, well, I say being Scottish because fuck British, but being Scottish, like we don't have like a lot of gun culture, so to speak. Like firearms are illegal. We've not been brought up around them. We've never kind of. I have fired like a kiddie gun once. I'm pretty sure if I ever had an actual rifle, it would like knock me flying back. So how many guns do you have, if you don't mind me asking?
Let me show you. This is kind of interesting. All right.
Ooh. This will be very interesting, like, because kind of outside of it. Oh, that's a lovely dog.
Her name's Sarah.
Is it German Shepherd?
Yep.
Oh, absolutely beautiful. Beautiful. My wife loves animals, and by association. Oh, absolutely adorable. How old's your dog?
Okay. She's 6 years old. Got her when she was a little puppy.
Oh, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Well, we've got a cat. And I'm allergic to cats. So every day it's like I could die today. What the allergies. But I do it because I love my wife. Yeah.
That's totally fair.
It's totally fair. Like, it's what we watch all those kind of animal rescue programs over here, and you see the people that are like, oh, life changed and we can't take the pet now. And I'm like, no, if I can suck it up and take an antihistamine a day to make sure that I can still have my cat, Like, surely you could manage that. The pet's meant to be part of the family.
They are. They're not supposed to be just like ignored or neglected. They're supposed to be loved and treated with dignity and respect.
Definitely, man. Definitely. They're training for kids. I get told that a puppy trains you for kids and a cat trains you for teenagers. Well, and on that note, like, I'm really set for my kids being teenagers when they grow up. Well, because if they're anything like Rita, they'll come down, they'll eat, they'll drink, they'll shit, they'll go back to their room. I'm cool with that. That's like the easiest dad job in the world. I will take that and run to the bank with it.
So let me show you my collection here.
Okay. Yeah, this will be interesting.
So this is
wow. Whoa.
This one right here. That's an AR-15.
Wow.
This one right here is a 12 gauge bullpup.
Nice.
It's in my automatic shotgun.
Yeah.
This one right here is a semi-automatic shotgun called the AA-12.
Mm-hmm.
This one's a 308 rifle, bolt action,
right, with
a magazine fed.
Yeah.
That's my pump action shotgun.
Wow. That's a proper Punisher shotgun, isn't it?
And that's my 45 caliber pistol.
Wow. Did you have names for them like you do for your guitars, or is that not seen as manly?
I've never really named my guns. No.
It's just something I was curious about there, because we named the music instruments, but we didn't name the guns. It's like just imagine if you got shot or what, and someone was like, "Oh, that's my girl Jemima." You're like, "You just shot me with a Jemima, man? Come on." So what got you into artillery? Is that the right way to say it? But I'm totally don't have a clue when it comes to guns, man.
I think my firearm shooting interest came from just growing up in a Western state. It's just huge in the culture here: hunting, outdoors activities. It's just something that is just all around all the time.
Yeah. So what do you find interesting about hunting? I hope you don't mind me asking this. I'm not asking like the condescending. I'm just really curious, because we've never had this kind of over here.
Well, what I like about hunting is like being able to provide for myself, fill my freezer full of meat for the year.
So what animals have you shot?
I've shot an antelope, I've shot an elk, I've shot a deer, shot a turkey.
Wow, you've shot most things that I haven't even seen. That's crazy, man. But so is it like proper like commando? Do you have to go in like full camouflage and stuff like that, or can you just go out and just sit and wait and have a beer and go, "Oh, there it is, bang"?
Depends on who you are. Like, some people like to get decked out in full camouflage. Other people just throw on an orange hat and go out there and fill their tags.
Yeah, you must absolutely be killer at paintball. Well,
yeah, actually, I love paintball, love airsoft. Like, I like doing the tactics that are involved. I like the exercise and just an adrenaline rush.
Yeah. So what is it like when you actually, like, when you kill something, like when you kill say a deer? We'll go with a deer. So you kill a deer, and then I take it you have to drag it back to the house, and then you have to do like the whole like guttings, cooking, and all that kind of stuff. The only experience I've had with this is that my granddad once killed a fish in front of me and gutted, scaled, and cooked it, and that was enough to traumatize me. Well, I'm more sensitive than a vegan on social media sometimes, especially when I was 8. So what's it like? How does that process work specifically?
Well, you drop your animal, you got it, you drain all the blood out of it, like either hang it from a tree or something of that sort.
Wow.
You cut it into quarters, and then you carry it back to camp or carry it back to your vehicle, and then you freeze it or take it to the butcher shop, and then they'll cut it up for you. How
long does a draining normally take?
Depends on the animal. It can take like a few hours to like 12 hours. Depends on how big it is.
And is the place where you hunt, is it close to your home, or do you drive a bit away from it, or?
Well, there's south of town. There's a bunch of empty fields where antelope roam, so go out there. But there's a bunch of mountains about 30 miles away from where I live.
Yeah.
But I go turkey and elk and deer hunting.
Wow. That is for me, it's nuts because I've never been around it, but obviously for you, it's just like an average Tuesday, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
just like, yep, I'm going to go out hunting. Bang. Right back. But I mean, I'll know people that are probably like animal rights activists that will be flipping their lid right now. But at the same time, have you ever had that? Have you ever had like extreme like vegans coming up to you being like, meat is murder and all that kind of stuff?
Not yet. I don't think there's very here in Wyoming.
Because one thing I noticed about vegans is that they don't mind like causing like graffiti and stuff and putting up big signs saying meat is murder, and I'm like, meat is murder, but arson is a felony.
I mean, they're not wrong per se, but it was killing a plant. Like that's murder too.
Yeah, true. Well, plants, give us it's like cutting down the trees. Trees give us oxygen to live.
Exactly.
Well, I think it's not as bad for me talking about like my wife grew up in a farm. She grew up on a dairy farm. So a lot of it was like like cows and milking them, and then once they were done, it was slaughter, off they go kind of deal. But I admire that you guys can do these type of things because I have absolutely no skill when it comes to that type of stuff, or like hunting or anything remotely manly. I could watch a film like like The Expendables and walk out feeling all butch and be like, oh, I'm going to go out and kill a deer and get a tree pregnant and all that kind of stuff. But really, I would just be like, this thing's going to eat me before I eat it. It's for me, it's nuts, but obviously for you guys, it would just be normal. So see if the butchers cut up your animal for you. Like, how much do they normally charge?
Like 1,200. Like it's not that much, honestly.
Wow. And do you prefer going out hunting alone, or do you like to go out with friends? Do they have like their own rifles and stuff as well, or?
Well, I always go out with somebody. I will never go out shooting by myself. It's a horrible idea, just in case something happens.
Yeah. Well, I take it you've been to a shooting range? You have shooting ranges over there?
Oh yeah, like rifle range, pistol ranges, all sorts.
So what's that like going there? Like going to a shooting range? Is it like the kind of stereotype that's on like TV? You've got your target of your average white guy, and it's just like aim for the heart, bang.
Yeah, pretty much. You just set up your target, shoot at it, pull back, look at your groupings.
Do you have like teachers for that? Like, do you have like instructors that are like if you move you're a bit off there, so if you move slightly, you'll be able to do that, or is it really a self-taught thing?
It's mainly a self-taught thing, but you can hire instructors.
Wow, it's really interesting because I've never thought of it could be a potential market for you, a potential business. Essentially, we have driving instructors, you get shooting instructors.
I mean, that would be a decent idea.
Yeah, it's like, well, okay, so this guy, you won't want to kill him. But if you aim for the right spot here and hit this bit, they're pretty much manslaughter, or like second degree murder or something like that. It was something very, very interesting. I could just imagine me, if I ever had a proper shotgun, I'd be like, you ever seen Family Guy?
Oh yeah.
Remember when Stewie had the 10 gauge and he just like shot right back?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that was something I never knew about either, was that there was like is it a recoil?
That
when you fire again? And they can be powerful enough to like break your shoulder, is that correct?
I mean, if you don't have it held properly, yeah, it could totally hurt you.
Yeah. Have you ever had like a that type of like gun related injury? Well, I'm not going to ask if you've been shot because that's a bit, that's a bit below the belt.
I mean, no, I've had bruising, but never like a long lasting injury from shooting.
That's interesting. It's really interesting, man. I hope you don't mind me asking. Like, it's just something fascinating for our side of the pond. So I remember one of the guests I had on, and she asked me, "She's like, you guys don't have guns over in the UK, do you?" I was like, no, it's not really in our kind of culture. She's like, so how do you protect your shit, man? She's like, how do you go about like defending your home? And I'm like, we just gotta be creative with our kills. And what the main thing for us is like Britain's more known for its knife culture, like stabbings and like all that kind of stuff. But we just get. She was like, let's present a scenario. What would you do if like a home invader broke into your house? And I'd be like, well, first of all, I want to make sure my wife and kids were safe. Well, and then I would charge at them naked because no one wants to fight a fat middle-aged ginger guy who's bald naked. No,
they do not.
They would not, and you just use any tool that you've got lying around to win. We wouldn't have a gun. I'd just be like, right, okay, what's kicking about on the floor? Oh, sorry, boys, your PJ Masks toy is about to be ruined. Smack over the head. What?
Just an iron skillet from the kitchen, just smack him behind the head with that.
Yeah. Well, we've got a proper good old fashioned frying pan. My wife constantly threatens to batter and melt in with it, so it's all good. And in fairness, like my wife's family do know how to work a shotgun because, well, like I said, they were farms. They did have a shotgun license for a while. I don't think she's ever used it, but I'm still edgy. I think she could use it if push came to shove.
Yeah,
I think she would know because she's already told me she knows how to castrate cows. So I was like, or bulls, sorry, because that's the male cow. So I was like, okay, do you know how to castrate? She also knows how to brand. So these are all different types of ways to inflict pain and suffering. We don't just go straight for the gun. As I say, we got to be creative.
I mean, I'd rather use like my Boken, which is a wooden sword, on a home intruder and just maim the crap out of them than shoot them.
Well, back up. You better delete here. You've got a wooden sword?
Yeah, I totally got a wooden sword. Let me check.
Oh man, I've got to see this as well. One of my mates will absolutely love this. He used to collect, like the smaller kind of swords, like the ornamental swords. He used to collect them. Well, we never got a chance to see. Like, I saw a proper sword once, and I was like, "Whoa, this is a bit scary." Holy moly! Wow. This probably going to sound a bit girly, but I really admire the craftsmanship of that sword. Like just how well it's been done, man.
I mean, you could always go with the machete too.
Oh, we've got Jason Voorhees on. Man, oh my god! Like, see if anybody is casting for a Friday the 13th kind of parody. Well, I'm recommending this guy. Well, recommend Andrew Wilken for the next Jason Voorhees.
Honestly, the best home defense weapon, I think, is a good old baseball bat.
Yeah. My dad had one of them. My dad had a good baseball bat. But me being young at the time, I genuinely thought he played baseball. I never realized it was actually for home invasion. But yeah, I would grab anything and everything. No, there's a doggy. We always like doggies. Oh, it's like here's my guns, here's my machete, here's my baseball bat. But look, I still love my doggy.
Right. I may be a complete badass, but still love my animals.
Hey, most of the most badass people I know love their animals. I remember seeing it was. Did you ever watch the wrestling when you were younger?
Like
WWF, WWE.
WWE?
Yeah.
Like when I was younger, for sure.
Yeah, so I was listening to was The Undertaker was on Joe Rogan's show, mainly because he'd made some comments on it. I was like, I need to find out what this is about. So I went on and listened to it, and I was more fascinated by the story that when he was going to get trained for wrestling, a guy basically ripped him off of all his money and legged it. and he's left the dogs behind.
Oh no!
And Mark Calloway couldn't even feed himself at the time, was sleeping in his car. But he took those dogs, adopted them, and kept them and raised them and looked after them while he was sleeping in his car for 8 months. I was like, that is respect, man. That was crazy. So you would have been Attitude Era, I guess Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression Era for wrestling.
Wait, what?
You would have been like the Attitude Era, the Ruthless Aggression Era for the WWF, WWE.
Yeah, I watched a lot of WWE, WWF.
Yeah,
growing up.
So who was your favorite wrestler?
I think my favorite wrestler would either have to be Kurt Angle or The Undertaker.
Nice. Mine was Chris Jericho.
Right.
I just thought he was always really funny. He was very technically gifted. He wasn't a big guy, but he knew how to handle himself. He was a really good worker. And then I fell in love with his band Fozzy. I mean, oh my God, I had no clue Jericho had pipes like that. It was brilliant.
It's awesome.
Unreal. So did you ever have like the wrestling sets or anything? Did you get like the figures and stuff? Did you ever get like wrestling figures and play with them and stuff like that?
No, I never got that far into it.
No. Well, we never got the figures. We were just too busy actually trying to beat the crap out of each other and do all the moves.
Backyard boxing is fun for sure.
Yeah, I remember my brother got me in a headlock, and I was like, Daniel, let go of my neck, but because I've got a thing on my neck, someone goes for that. It's like a white rage thing, and next thing you know, I just remember scooping him up and ankle slamming him onto the couch.
That's awesome.
He was like, my back. I was like, I told you not to grab my neck. Don't grab my neck, man. Oh, the amount of injuries that we could get from that was brilliant. The amount of times that you could just beat the crap out of your mates and be like, okay, good game.
Right.
Another question that's came in my head about the guns. Do you still have the waiting periods for getting a gun because they have to do background checks and stuff like that?
Depends on the state you're in. In Wyoming, there's a lot of lax gun laws, so I could show up because I have 2 forms of identification. I can get a gun in 15, 30 minutes.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So you just can basically go in. So it's just essentially going to your local Walmart, going, okay, and I'll just pick up a 10 gauge and I'll pick up 45.
It's funny that you can totally pick up guns at Walmart too. So
wow. I thought But so you're just going into Walmart, you're getting your well, you wouldn't be getting the meat because you would have killed it, but you'd be getting your veg and your milk and stuff like that, and then just throwing in a Colt 44 Magnum in there or something.
I mean, get your beer, get your eggs, and get a shotgun. Yeah.
Yes, that's a very interesting shopping experience, I must say. Do you like the kind of the older guns, like the antique guns, like Mustangs and all that kind of stuff?
Never really got into those type of guns. No. Yeah. I prefer the more tactical weapons.
I just wasn't sure if it was a case of if you liked guns, you would do like for example, in my case, I like steam trains. So I would look into all the old trains, and I've got wee collections of in my case it was Thomas the Tank Engine trains and stuff. And I always loved this Great Western engine or this Saddle Tank engine stuff. I didn't know if that was the kind of same thing with gun guys. Would they be I've got my rifles and that for normal days, but here's my pristine musket.
Yeah, not so much on my end.
No, not on yours, but you ever done any of those the Civil War reenactments or anything like that?
No, man, that never really interested me. I mean, I love history and everything, but
that's just something I was just curious about, because I know that obviously they do a lot of that as well, and there's there's all the gunplay and stuff.
Something fun that I do is sometimes I will go to the Renaissance Fair and LARP, act like a pirate, or
nice. For those on our side of the pond, LARPing is a live action role play. Now that is pretty damn sweet. Well, it's recently been more popularized with the TV show Hawkeye. So how do you get into LARPing? Is there like, you know, like, is there like Facebook groups or like community things? They just be like, oh, we're going to be doing this today. Everybody want to come, all that kind of stuff.
A lot of my friends growing up were like super nerdy. Like we played Magic the Gathering, Dungeons and Dragons, and like we just dress up and like act like our characters at times when we were kids. And
Nice.
so it just felt natural to just start going to Renaissance fairs and being like the pirate that I am.
Nice one, man. Well, and you are living proof that you should never piss off a nerd, because now you know how to operate a gun. Well, not just a gun, several guns.
Right.
Well, you'll just be like, what? Okay, all these guys that bullied me. Just so you know, here's my collection of guns. That's me. Aha! I love the pirate flag, man. Love the pirate flag in the background.
Exactly.
Nice one. Oh, it's absolutely brilliant. But we are starting to come up on time, even though I could probably ask so many questions about, you know, guns and show even more of my ignorance. Like, I really don't want to, you know, what seem like a total dick. But it's been absolutely brilliant talking to you, man. Like, just finding out, like, this is why I love doing podcasts. Well, yes, I like to like find out about, like, you know, like artists and music and stuff like that, but find out about people's lives and what they do and their hobbies and things that happen in like the other side of the world that we don't know in our side of the world is absolutely fascinating to me. Well, and yeah, well, at least I know that if I'm ever over in Wyoming, I can know I can come to your house for protection.
Well, yeah, totally.
Yeah. So I will ask. Yeah, definitely, man. Well, I could crash on that couch. Well, does the dog have a specific couch?
There's like 3 of them that she likes to sleep on.
Cool. I would just need to make sure I knew which one the dog was on and go to the opposite, so the dog could still have the space. We've got to be respectful of the animal.
Exactly. Well, thank you for having me on your show. I appreciate your time. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah. Well, I'll just round off by asking you the one question that I ask all my guests, because it is a mental health podcast. If you could give one piece of advice to anybody that's struggling with mental health issues at this point in time, what would that piece of advice be and why?
Don't take anything personal. Like whatever anyone says, that's on them. You can't control other people. You have to have like complete radical acceptance of your life and only control your actions.
Nice one. This is coming from a guy who could also have used the line for the piece of advice, don't piss off someone with a gun. But Andrew, you've been absolutely brilliant to speak to, man. Normally I would do like a wee kind of ask Andrew anything, where you would get to ask me a question. But I know that do you have time? Because I know you'll be busy with the business and stuff, because there's obviously a time difference for recording. You're in the middle of your day and I'm basically going to be going to my bed. Have you got time to jump in for the final segment?
Yeah.
Cool. So we'll come to Wyoming's favorite segment, Ask Andrew Anything. This is where, after me grilling my guests for about 45 minutes, this is where we get to turn tables around and the guest gets to ask me a question. It could go well, it could go badly, but that is all part of the fun. So, my fellow druid, do you have a question for this mental ginger?
Yeah. What's your favorite part about living in the UK?
My favorite part is probably that there's not a lot of sun.
Nice.
Being a redhead, I fry in any temperature that essentially is above 17 degrees. Well, it's like, I think whoever came up with the concept of hell just ask the ginger kid what's their idea of hell, and just road mapped it out. Because that's essentially it. Like, I think my own personal hell will be being stuck on a beach on a scalding hot day with no sunscreen, no loungers or anything like that. That would be my idea of like my worst nightmare. Well, whereas in the UK, because we do have summers. Well, we do have summers, and I just kind of scurry away and hide when that happens. But it's not as intense. Like when I went to Florida with my wife for my honeymoon, I thought I was just going to come home as just like this weird white ginger goop, because I just thought I was just going to melt everywhere. So the UK and Ireland are like the only places that I know that I am definitely safe from, dying.
Awesome.
What I do, I love living in the UK, but I particularly love living in Scotland, because that's my home country. That's who I am. I'm very patriotic. Love the fact that gingers are associated with the Scottish. And what I always love all the Brigadoon stereotypes of Scotland, where everybody thinks that the haggis is a real animal. They think that the haggis are like three-legged and like they run about the Highlands, and they're made from bagpipes, and all that kind of stuff. It's absolutely brilliant. And they just come up to you and they're like, oh, I really love Scotland. Whereabouts in England is that? I'm like, get the fuck out right now. Don't say that. I just remember seeing one, and it was one of the biggest abominations I ever saw in Florida, and it was a pub called the Tartan Kilt. And it had an England flag on the front of it. And I was like, no. The Kilt is Scottish. The Kilt's Scottish. Do not do that. Do not desecrate the holy ground. But it's always fun. Like I say, being Scottish is one of the best things. In my eyes, is one of the best things in the world to say to somebody that you're Scottish, because everybody just loves Scotsmen. I never realised how popular we were until I had all these guests on. They're like, oh, I love Scottish people. I love Scottish people. And I'm like, too fucking right you do. We're awesome. Yeah.
Right.
Pretty cool. But yeah, I would say definitely the lack of sun is a good thing for me. But a lot of people in the UK would not agree with that. They leave here to go to the sun. I'm a home bird, and I know I won't fry here, so I'm okay with that.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, Andrew, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on, man, and getting to know you that bit better. I really hope that I get to get you back on at some point. We can have a bit more discussions about music and about all that kind of stuff. But just learning about you and learning about your lifestyle, and you've gave us an entire walking tour of your house as well. During the interview, I've just been so fascinated with all the stuff I've seen in the background and
my garden.
Yeah, it's brilliant, man. And obviously getting to see the dog was cool. That was awesome. But yeah, that's absolutely brilliant, man. Hope that you have a good day with whatever else you're doing. Are you working today, actually, or are you just?
Here a little bit. I will totally be working.
No, definitely, man, definitely. Well, you got any plans to go out hunting?
No, got no plans right now.
Cool. Well, like I say, keep me updated with the hunts. Let me know how things are.
Sounds good. I totally will. Maybe I'll take you hunting with me on a podcast. That'd be funny.
Oh man, that would be hilarious. Like just doing a live podcast, hunting with Ginger. Well, you just see me there, like absolutely terrified, and you're just like, okay, just kill the deer. And I'm like, what? It's like when did I miss this? It's like when did I miss this? Oh, you passed out the second the gunshot went off. Oh man, that definitely. If I ever get this show on like the American road trip, I'm coming to Wyoming, and we'll do like a hunt. You'll see how much of a pussy I really am.
All right, Andrew. It's been a pleasure. Hello, Drew. You have a great day, man.
You too, man. Well, until next time, everybody, take care. Stay safe. Bye-bye.
Bye.